and because here's the problem that I think sometimes, and it's not any fault of their own, because it's a relatively new concept, financial concept for people to understand why people support Bitcoin. And this is why my big problem with the Bitcoin community talking about whether it's worth 6,000 or 60,000, you're doing yourself a disservice, because it shouldn't matter whether it's worth 60,000 or 6,000. That might be a nice promotional thing for people to look at it. But at the end of the day, people need to understand it's a decentralized currency. It's all about getting government, getting central bankers out of the transactional process. So it's like, let's say you've got one stack of cash, you've got two stacks of cash. You've got one stack of cash here, you got one stack of cash here. And you say, okay, you get to pick which stack of cash you want. And you're like, okay, but hold on. This stack of cash is going to be controlled by a bunch of other people, and they're going to tell you how to spend it, where to spend it, how much you can spend of it, and they're going to take a little off the top every transaction. This stack of cash over here, you just take it, do whatever you want with it. Well, which stack of cash are you going to want? You're obviously going to want that's not going to be oversought, and it's not going to have the taxing and all of it on it. And so that's kind of, when I try to explain the concept of Bitcoin, and I'm not a big Bitcoin supporter, I like decentralized currencies, absolutely. But that's the big issue that people need to understand. That's why the state's attacking it. To get back to where you're at, that's why Bitcoin is under attack. That's why cryptocurrency as a concept is under attack, because the central bankers and the big governments need that control over the monetary policies, need that control over the money. Otherwise, they can't really enslave us anymore.
I mean, this is why they're pushing for CBDCs. If for those who don't know what that means, it's central bank digital currency. Now, the easiest way for them to launch CBDCs is actually going to be to partner with an institution or a foundation or an organization that is running a current cryptocurrency. The most likely one, in my mind, is going to be Ethereum. There's probably some other ones like, Cardano and this and that the government and the state is most likely to partner with. But this is why I always differentiate for people Bitcoin versus crypto. They are unrelated. Crypto is just digital fiat. That's it. And it's got far more in common with the US dollar or the euro or the Australian dollar or the yen or you name the government issued coin, whatever you want to place in there. So it's important for people to realize sovereign money and not feeding your jailers is actually how you fight back. So when we talk about, I want to also mention the piece that you said about the Bitcoin price. Now, money is supposed to, if you think about what money represents the collective product of society, right? It represents the time, the energy, and the natural resources within a society. And money is a technology or a tool that enables people to do a couple things. Number one is store that product, that value, transact that product, that value, and measure that. So it's kind of like a language of value. So when you think about that, you can't print time, you can't print energy, and you can't print physical resources out of nothing. So these things are all fixed and finite in nature. So a perfect money would also be fixed and finite in nature. And that's what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is kind of like this perfect money that is fixed, it's immutable, you can't change it, and nobody can change the rules. In the same way as nobody can change time, nobody can change energy, nobody can change natural resources. This is what the establishment is most afraid of. And this is why they support, whether it's crypto, they'll support Ethereum, they'll support things like FTX. When FTX blows up, everyone freaks out and they think the problem is Bitcoin, when the problem is what's happening here. That's why I say it's an attack on Bitcoin specifically, as is all of crypto.
Well, let's get into that on the other side of this break, because I do think this was an organic takedown of FTX. I don't think the deep state had origins of taking this down. Why would they? They were laundering so much money. But as we know, communists don't let a good crisis go to waste. So, of course, they're going to use this to attack crypto. Eventually, Bitcoin is going to be their biggest shark. But I feel like they're kind of they're treading lightly on the Bitcoin ground right now, because they know Bitcoiners are really good advocates for crypto, and so they don't want to anger you guys too much, I've noticed.
What if you could cut your heating bills this winter with your existing wood-burning fireplace and not spend thousands doing it? You can with Great Wall of Fire fireplace grates. Our U.S. patented, made-in-America Wall of Fire grates increase fireplace efficiency, eliminate fireplace smoke problems, and come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. See our grates in action and get free shipping from walloffire.com or call 800-274-7364. Fireplace heat without fireplace smoke. walloffire.com.
Airlines have just reduced their prices even more. Book 30 days in advance and save big.
Want the absolute lowest prices on your airline tickets? Then call the Low Cost Airlines Travel Hotline right now. For prices so low, we can't publish them anywhere. The only way to access our low rates and save up to 70% is to call. Save hundreds on your vacation tickets by calling right now. You can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
802-341-4535. 802-341-4535. 802-341-4535. That's 802-341-4535.
Silver has always been nature's very own antibiotic, and only one system allows you to generate an endless supply of natural silver solutions. Silverlungs.com. You'll find no wild claims or pseudoscience, just a lifetime of nano-sized pure silver solutions. The Silver Lungs generator allows you to make your own, so stop paying for silver solutions. The unique lung delivery system targets respiratory infections where other silver solutions simply cannot reach. See the Silver Lungs generator and lung delivery system at silverlungs.com. That's silverlungs.com.
Extendivite testimonials on Amazon are very informative. Here's just a few. Amazon customer. 5 stars. Honestly, this stuff works. Nick. Easy to take capsules. For those who can't handle the liquid drops, easy to take Extendivite capsules do the same job. Karoka fan. Works great. Like Extendivite very much. Seems to work as advertised. Thanks. Arlene. 5 stars. Love this product, Extendivite. Terry W. 5 stars. Can't say enough. Great product. Freya. 5 stars. I just ordered another. To get your Extendivite today, go to extendivite.com. That's XTENDOVITE.com or call us at 1-877-928-8822.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Are you curious about what might be missing from your diet and supplement choices? Take a free health assessment to identify your possible nutrient deficiencies. As a certified holistic health coach, I will help you assess and prioritize a supplement program based on Dr. Wallach's recommendations. Call Linda at 833-VITAL-90. That number to call is 833-848-2590. That's 833-VITAL-90.
Hi, this is Dr. Joel Wallach, the Mineral Doctor. You've heard me talk about 90 for life for years. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids. You may not know this, that I've actually designed Arthrodex for animals. That's right. Your pets need 90 for life, too. Get this essential pet product by calling 877-279-9422. That's 877-279-9422. Again, 877-279-9422.
Alex Svetsky wrote the Uncommunist Manifesto. You gotta like that. Got great reviews. You can read it for yourself. Find out why. And we're talking crypto, FTX crash, Bitcoin, and everything else. And so you got into the state attack on Bitcoin. You mentioned that in the last segment. Now, to me, from my perspective, I think that this collapse was organic. Now, maybe at some point in time they did plan on writing SBF and FTX out as their controlled collapse to eventually go after crypto. But I think at this point it was organic. I think the Binance guy calling SBF out was organic, and then the response has basically been the old, as you know, communist response: don't let a good crisis go to waste. So, of course, with it all crashing down, they're trying to take control of it. Do you agree with that analysis? Do you agree with me that this was an organic fallout, or do you think this was a controlled fallout from the very beginning?
No, it was. So to clarify, I think FTX was a state-sponsored actor, but I think the collapse 100% was an organic thing because they had no money on the balance sheet. Like, so all that had to happen at some point was the leverage to crush them. Simple as that. Like, it was the same thing that happened in 2008. You know, there's only so much you can basically, you know, play Icarus, right? You jump off a cliff, you think for the first 3 seconds that you're flying, and then gravity catches up and you're gone. So, you know, on a longer time scale, FTX was certainly a state actor, or at least, I shouldn't say certainly, seemingly a state actor because of the way it came out of nowhere, you know, $36 billion company out of nothing. That just doesn't happen magically.
Well, and let's point out the obvious, too. I mean, Bankman-Fried and Caroline Ellison are both deeply tied to top political activists. They're both deeply tied to the Democrat Party. I mean, there's no denying that.
Yeah. So, but the collapse, I think, was, as you said, organic. Now, the thing is, my guess was the state-sponsored attack component was that they would have known that this would fall over at some point, because you can't just, you know, create $36 billion out of thin air and think that it's going to last forever, right? So, you know, if you're an intelligent state actor, for example, you do this, you'd find a way to funnel basically $10 billion from someone else's pocket, funnel it to whatever you want to, launder it, and then when you know it inevitably blows up, you've got, you know, two prime candidates to throw under the bus, number one, and number two, you've got a scapegoat that you can blame, which is Bitcoin, and then they'll say, oh, but we need regulation, you know, so that way they can tie people up once more to stop them from being able to buy Bitcoin as much as possible. I mean, but the thing is, you know, as we know, the government's great at stopping things. You know, they couldn't stop alcohol, they couldn't stop weed, they couldn't stop anything. So the last thing on the planet they're going to stop is some code. So it's going to backfire them in the long run, but I mean, you know, unfortunately, this is just going to scare off some people who think that the problem was with Bitcoin, not with these centralized platforms.
Well, Bitcoin investors like that because the price gets lower for them, and that's when you feel bullish.
Totally.
Now, you had mentioned you had met SBF. I guess it was at a crypto event you had met him. And look, you know, I want to be clear on something here because I'm getting some pushback and flack from this. Folks, I'm not trying to be inconsiderate. I'm not trying to be... what's the word that I'm looking for here? When I talk about SBF and Caroline Ellison having learning disabilities or being on a autism spectrum, again, I don't say that to be rude or that you know, I'm uncaring towards those people. That's not the case at all. But I think it's important to point that out because what I think was going on here, and it's a sad thing to have to face, I think that these two were used to be the fall guys. Like you said, it's the perfect fall girl, perfect fall guy. Maybe don't really fully understand what they're getting into. They're young, you know, maybe have a learning disability, maybe on the autism spectrum, not really know what's going on, but flush with all this cash, putting all this power, told by people in powerful positions, hey, it's all going to be great, it's all going to be good. And then it all collapses around them, and somehow Sam Bankman-Fried is still running around. He hasn't even been arrested. So I'm not saying that to be insensitive. I think it just shows how this whole thing was a money laundering operation from the very beginning, and SBF and Ellison were just put into these positions to be the fall guys and girls.
You should see a tweet that I put up earlier today, which is, you know, that death tweet where he's like going through each door and like, you know, killing a new head. You know, so you had Do Kwon, who was the one who blew up that stable coin. Then there was Alex Mashinsky, Celsius, which all the Bitcoiners warned against. Now there's SBF. Who else looks and feels and sounds similar? Vitalik from Ethereum. There we go. That's the one. So it's the same archetype, same kind of person, same kind of, what they select them because they look like the Wonder Boy. They're either on, the Asperger's spectrum or the autism spectrum.
There's a physiognomy. There's a clear physiognomy.
Physiognomy, thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So people that think that, Ethereum and all these sorts of things are different, they're in for a rude surprise. I had a train of thought before just about the fixed supply money that I mentioned. And I just wanted to sort of give people, I wanted to tie that example off before we go down another path. But this is just for people to take this away, because I know listeners of this show will be probably very bullish things like gold, because it's been money for thousands of years, and we it's an established form of monetary unit. But think about this: the first people who discovered gold, while the rest of the world was still using a mixture of salt and seashells and glass beads and other things like that for money. Imagine what the value of gold was at that point in time. You could have found a big nugget of gold and you wouldn't have been able to buy anything with it because gold was valueless in the beginning. Now, what's important to note is that the reason gold emerged over thousands of years as the number one money, that civilizations from all around the world, independently selected as money, was because it had superior properties for use as money. It was recognizable. It was extremely durable. It's the only inert metal on the planet that is inert at room temperature. It is extremely portable. It is very scarce. You can't just, make it up out of thin air. The alchemist's dream of, creating basically, soil into gold. So it had all these attributes which meant that the whole world converged. And this is actually what appreciated the purchasing power of gold over about 5,000 years. So what